Alright, the next level. Level 10, Swamped. Another 8-minute long level. Immediately start off having to fight one of these big guys, which is not always the case on this level. So having to deal with one of them early on can be a little bit tricky, but that's why the burst fire is definitely one of your probably best DPS firing modes for close range. Wouldn't use it for for things that are much farther out. The majority of the time on this level, you will be dealing with jackals and banshees, especially early on in the level, so you gotta get used to teleporting. As you can see, I am using the Spoiled perk. I usually didn't use this, but I've been trying to out some different perk combinations for the high scores, and on levels that specifically, if I have to forego some of my explosive perks like Demolition or Bonanza because I'm not using explosions too much, Spoiled is a good alternative for some guaranteed extra points, especially if you have a lot of power-up drops in a level. So, as usual with the Banshees, trying to kill them as fast as possible because constantly having to run away from Banshee is usually not ideal. And these poison ticks are also a little bit threatening on this level. You want to make sure you don't tank their explosive death damage when you already have damage on you, because usually you will die to that. Terror Birds, not incredibly threatening on this level because this level's pretty flat terrain-wise, so you can see them coming from a good distance and deal a lot of damage to them. So that's what we're doing here, using the boost balls to deal with them. I find the chopper is actually a pretty good all-around weapon to use for this level. It deals with a lot of the enemies a lot better. You also do have the Impaler on this level, but you get that after the chopper. And the Impaler, especially for me right now, because I'm not super... I gotta get used to it again. If you're not accurate enough with the Impaler, the chopper is just way more effective. When it comes to the eel, though, the chopper can deal damage to the eel's shield. However, it doesn't take the shield down, so it's pretty slow if you're only using the chopper for its damage for the eel. So that's why here I get the Impaler, take out the shield with the Impaler, and then the second one kills the eel. So I find the Impaler is probably the best weapon to deal with the eel. Here we're using all the boost balls that we've gotten from the drops to deal with all of them before we can die. You gotta be careful though, you don't want to blow yourself up with the boost balls because that can happen. Here, good old jackals, always a pain on this level. I had to do this level quite a lot for this attempt at a high score, and constantly having to deal with jackals, man. You really want to find the fastest way to deal with them because you will be fighting jackals through the entirety of this mission. And that's where the Impaler can be quite helpful with killing them pretty fast. But here we get the best drop for this level, the Hellfire. Want to pick that up as quickly as we can here because that allows for us to kill things a lot better. So we got that. That's the last drop for this level. So now I believe it's the last one. Landing those Impaler shots are quite important for DPS, and the boost balls. I do like keeping boost balls on the ground on this level, particularly for those big underground worms, because the boost ball explosion does a lot of damage to them and usually can knock them out in one explosion, depending on how much damage you have on them and how close to it. So of course, like with any levels, we want to get as many boost ball drops as we can and splitting them to get these high scores. So every boost ball drop is big. There, just missed the Impaler shot. Pretty bad. Some good damage. Dodge the bite because we do not want to get hit by them. That would be instant death there. Make sure we split those yellow orbs. Take out everything as fast as we can. Hellfire is probably one of the best weapons in this game. It can be a little slow at times with the damage if you're not really keeping the beam on target. Trying to take out another eel here, which using the boosted shot with the Hellfire could kill it real quick, but I try not to use my boosted energy because I need to keep it charged, so my charged shots take recharge a lot faster. That's what allows us to use this Impaler every like few seconds, which really boosts our kill rate on the enemies. Now, of course, this level also has two of the most annoying creatures to fight in this game. You got Sandfish and Pale Spiders, which both caused most of my deaths on my attempts here. Whenever they're alive, we definitely want to get rid of them as fast as possible, and the Impaler is pretty effective, especially on the Pale Spiders. Here we got the Sandfish. This is where the Chopper becomes really handy, because hitting those Sailfish while they're underground, the Chopper is definitely the best weapon to do that with. We got the shield balls here, usually not super annoying, especially you can use just wait for it to attach to an enemy, then blow it up, and then it will most of the time kill whatever enemy that it's attached to, which can be, you know, a nice bonus. So here we're trying to survive. We're getting to the later half of the mission now. Here, oh yeah, we got the big burrowers, alpha burrowers, which we were kind of lucky in not having to deal with them early on in the mission, because they can be, depending on how slow they are popping up out of the ground, they can really slow you down with kills. So getting our first one this late in the level is pretty nice. Dealing with the Sandfish, definitely want to get rid of them when you can, because they cause a majority of my deaths. You can usually, if you keep moving, you can, oh here, okay, yes. So here we got the big bad boy for this level. The giant, what are they, sandworms? Is that what these things are called? I actually can't remember what everything is called right now, since it's been a while since I played this game, actually. So, but this is the only level that this big one actually shows up on, which I find actually kind of interesting. We just keep on dealing damage to it as we can, and making sure we do not get hit by it, because that will be certain death. So keep on teleporting away, trying to deal with these other enemies, because we don't want to just stop killing, because that's going to slow down our point gain. Landing the Impaler each time he pops up, since it is our biggest burst of damage, hitting with the Impaler. Another yellow boost ball, and right there we were able, you can use boost ball explosions to hit them underground, which is what happened there. Pretty useful. So here, we're in the final stretch. Gets a little dicey at times. Trying to, did I actually hit that? I did. I actually hit that eel with that long range shot, which is pretty nice. Trying not to focus too much on the eel, because I know there is a Pale Spider still alive, which can be very bad if I get hit by that Pale Spider when I'm not ready to hit it. Hellfire makes dealing with those Banshees a hell of a lot easier. That's why getting the Hellfire on this level is one of the biggest things, which I actually do think I'm using the Expedite perk on this level to make it so I get the drops a lot sooner. But here we are, that's the ship coming in, finishing off the eel, shooting all the boost balls we got left over, and there is the new high score for Swamped. I gotta say, that one was pretty crazy, but I managed to do it. So there's the new high score, 187,800, and I hope you all enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll see you in the next level I beat.